that after Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns and after he kills Dajjal, the hadith says, فَبَعَثَ اللَّهُ يَأْجُوجَ وَمَأْجُوجَ, Allah will send Gog and Mgog. I think the meaning here is He will send them now to their final destruction. This is the sending. And they will pass by the Sea of Galilee, which is when it's going to go dry. And Nabi Isa alayhi salam will be targeted. They won't spare him. And he will go up the mountain, which is a mountain in Baytul Maqdis, Sahih Muslim. And the believers will go up the mountain with him. And Gog and Mgog will then say, now listen carefully, we have killed those on earth. Now let us kill those in the heavens above. And they will shoot their arrows up into the sky. And Allah will allow the arrows to come back down with blood. And then Nabi Isa alayhi salam will make dua to Allah to destroy them. And Allah will send something like a tiny little insect, a virus, something, which attacks them at the top of the spine. And they display an amazing incapacity to defend themselves. The immune system seemed to have collapsed completely. And this little insignificant biological attack, that's all it takes. And they fall down, paralyzed. And by next morning, not only are they dead, but their bodies are decomposing and smelling stink. And then Allah's messenger, Nabi Isa alayhi salam, will pray to Allah and he will send birds, prehistoric birds, whose necks will be like camels. And they will pick up these bodies and take them where Allah ordains that they be disposed of. This is a crucially important hadith that I have chosen not to deal with in detail in this book, because I don't think that I have fathomed it enough. But this much I recognize, that we're dealing with a Gog and Mgog confrontation which would involve what today is called Star Wars. Missile technology that would send missiles up into the sky, a war involving missiles up in the heavens. Why would you send missiles up in the sky? Because you have a spy station up there. And they're directing their war from there. So if you want to defeat them here on the earth, you're going to have to destroy that revolving spy station up there. I want to suggest to you that the coming Gog and Mgog confrontation, we have defeated those on earth, now let us defeat those in the heavens above, is a confrontation between Gog and Mgog which will leave both Gog and Mgog eventually paralyzed. So I have to look In the region of the Caucasus Mountains, north of the Caucasus, I have to look for those who have the capacity for sending the arrows up into the sky, the missiles, the Star Wars technology. I know that Gog and Mgog are working in tandem with Dajjal. And the objective is that Dajjal must establish his rule over the whole of mankind. And he's using Gog and Mgog as his foot soldiers. If one people are to rule the world, and you have two people with equal power, Gog and Mgog, then the one has to establish its authority over the other. Gog has to rule Mgog, or Mgog has to rule Gog. Do I need to continue the lecture? Or have you already understood it? We must locate two centers of power in the world, both seemingly indestructible, both matchless in the world, both with a capacity for Star Wars, and one attempting to establish its rule over the whole world, and therefore its rule over Mgog. And Mgog resisting, not the Chinese. Chinese are businessmen. The Chinese are businessmen. How much do you offer? But the Russians will never submit. Russia is precisely such a power that Russia can stand up. Russia gave them a bloody dose in Georgia just a year ago. And Russia is in a fighting mood. They have been circling Russia, NATO, building an offensive nuclear missile capacity around Russia, taking the former states of the Soviet Union and bringing them into NATO. The last one now, which remains, I think Ukraine, there's still some tussle going on, but Georgia is the one they're trying to get. And so we can now comfortably lean back and relax, because we know what's coming ahead. It's going to be a Star Wars confrontation between Russia on the one hand and its allies, which refuses to submit to someone ruling the world from Jerusalem, and therefore refuses to submit to the Anglo-American-Israeli alliance of the West. And this side with an obstinate, pig-headed, irrational determination, we will have to impose our rule over Russia, regardless of consequences. And this leads to the confrontation, the Star Wars conflict, which is coming ahead of us. And that Star Wars conflict, when it takes place, will be mutually destructive. And when it is mutually destructive, when nuclear weapons are used on such a mass scale, I think it is not far-fetched for us to believe that the capacity for electronic warfare will cease. And so it's horses once more. It's horses once more. It's conventional warfare once more. And Israel had been set up by the European Jewish-Christian Alliance, set up And now Banu Israel are left defenseless to face the army of Islam.